Benny was lying on the grass one day watching clouds when suddenly one of the clouds looked like a bird and it winked at him. The cloud bird flew down from the sky and landed beside him. "Hello," said Benny. "Hi there," said the cloud bird. "I'm on my way to the great cloud castle in the sky. Want to race me?" "Oh, I don't know," said Benny. "I've never raced a cloud bird before." "It'll be fun," said the cloud bird. "We'll race over rainbow rivers and through cotton candy clouds." "Well, okay then," said Benny. "Let's do it." Benny stood up and took off his jacket. He wanted to make sure he was ready for the race. He took a deep breath, then jumped as high as he could and floated down onto a nearby trampoline. The cloud bird flew in circles around the trampoline, making sure Benny was ready. "Okay, I'm ready," said Benny. He bounced up and down on the trampoline, getting ready to take off. The cloud bird gave him a big smile and winked. Then it flew straight up into the sky. "Woohoo!" it shouted. "Come on, Benny, follow me." Benny closed his eyes, took a big deep breath, then jumped as high as he could. He could feel the wind in his hair as he soared through the air. Just before he reached the top, he opened his eyes and what he saw made him gasp. Below him, the world looked like a patchwork quilt made of fields and forests, rivers and roads. Houses looked like tiny boxes, and cars looked like little beetles crawling along the roads. Up ahead, he could see the finish line, the great cloud castle in the sky. But first, he had to get past all those clouds. He turned to look for the cloud bird, but it had vanished. Then he heard a giggle above him and saw the cloud bird swooping through the clouds just ahead of him. "Hey, don't cheat," Benny called up to it. The cloud bird laughed and said, "This is a race, remember? Whoever reaches the castle first wins." Then it disappeared into the clouds again. Benny knew he had to hurry if he wanted to catch up. He looked around for something he could use to help him get higher, and that's when he saw it, a huge white cloud in the shape of a whale. He started to climb towards it, and as he went higher, the air grew colder and colder. Soon, Benny was inside the cloud, sliding down its slippery sides. As he slid, he remembered the bubble he'd blown before he took off from the trampoline. He hadn't thought much of it at the time, but now the bubble was floating above him, bigger and brighter than ever. As it floated past, Benny reached out and grabbed hold. The bubble burst, giving him a sudden burst of energy that lifted him even higher. Up ahead, he could see the finish line, the great cloud castle in the sky. Benny knew he had to hurry if he wanted to win the race. He took a deep breath, then let out a shout as he raced towards the castle. Just then, he heard a familiar giggle and turned to see the cloud bird flying towards him. It was only a few feet away from him, just out of reach. Benny could see the entrance to the castle up ahead, but he couldn't slow down now. If he wanted to pass the cloud bird, he had to keep going. He glanced over his shoulder at the cloud bird. It had a goofy grin on its face and was flapping its wings with all its might. Suddenly, Benny felt a pang of sympathy for the little cloud bird. It had been racing hard the whole time, and now it was so close to the finish line. Without thinking, Benny slowed down, then turned around and floated back towards the cloud bird. As he got closer, he could see how tired it was. Its wings were drooping and its feathers were ruffled. "Are you okay?" Benny asked. The cloud bird looked at him and whispered, "I'm so tired. I don't think I can go any further." Benny knew what he had to do. He smiled and said, "Hop on my shoulders, little cloud bird. We'll cross the line together." The cloud bird did as Benny said, and together they raced across the finish line and into the great cloud castle in the sky. Inside, it was warm and cozy. Soft white clouds floated all around them, and a gentle breeze kept them cool. On one side of the room, Benny could see a giant cloud shaped like a bed. On the other side, he could see a bubbling cloud spa. "Wow," Benny whispered. "This place is amazing." Then the cloud bird spoke. "Welcome to the great cloud castle in the sky. I'm so glad you're here." "Me too," said Benny. He and the cloudbird spent the rest of the afternoon laughing and playing in the clouds. They raced each other through the hallways, slid down the giant cloud slide, and took turns telling scary stories in the bubbling cloud spa. As the sun began to set, Benny knew it was time to go home. He and the cloudbird said their goodbyes and floated out of the castle. Benny took one last look at the great cloud castle in the sky, then turned and headed back to town. As he floated through the air, he couldn't help but smile. The race had been fun, but the best part had been sharing the adventure with a new friend.